Good day, Father Archie. I am Seminarian Jude and Cabelin from Sabarian Missionaries, together with my Claretian brother, Seminarian Brix Obina, and FMI brother, Seminarian Chongkein Beyag. We are going to report about the global economy. What is it all about? Global economy refers to the interconnected worldwide economic activities that take place between multiple countries. These economic activities can have either a positive or negative impact on the countries involved, like the connection between the ASEAN countries, Philippines, Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, and any other country. We can say the countries involving United Nations, they are also involved in the global economy because they are part of the globe. The global economy plays a critical role in shaping the trajectory of both advanced and emerging markets by examining it through micro and macroeconomic lenses, as well as considering the long-term global economic outlook. We begin insight into why global economic health matters to everyone, from individual consumers to international institutions. First is, what is micro level? At the micro level, individuals and businesses in emerging markets are increasingly integrated into the global economic system. For example, consumers gain access to a wider range of goods and services, often at lower cost due to global supply chains and competition. Small and medium enterprises can tap into international markets via digital platforms and global trade networks, enabling growth beyond local economies. And third is the employment opportunities. In sectors such as manufacturing, technology, and services are often created through foreign directed investment or FDI and partnerships with multinational corporations. That's the micro level. The consumer, the small and medium enterprises, and the employment opportunities. Now we go to macro level. It is on a larger scale, the global economy. It drives growth in emerging markets through trade, investment, and technology transfer. It influences policy decisions as global financial institutions like the IMF or World Bank set terms for loans, economic reforms, and development programs. That's the micro level and macro level. The second is long-term world economic outlook. The future of the global economy will be increasingly influenced by the performance and development of emerging markets. These economies are engines of global growth. Nations like India, Brazil, Vietnam, and parts of Africa are expected to contribute a growing share of global GDP. Demographical advantages. Younger populations mean stronger labor forces and growing consumer bases driving long-term demand. And hubs for innovation and digital transformation. As technology becomes more accessible, emerging markets can leapfrog traditional development stages and foster entrepreneurial ecosystems. However, global interdependence however, global interdependence also means shared vulnerabilities like global shocks, pandemics, wars, financial crisis, and etc. It can disrupt supply chains, capital flows, and commodity prices, which disproportionately affect emerging economies. And the second is the climate change and geopolitical climate change. And the second is climate change and geopolitical tensions. It poses long-term risks that require coordinated responses across developed and developing nations. Hence, the global economy is not just a system of trade and finance. It's a complex network of relationships that shape the everyday realities of nations and individuals alike. For emerging markets, its importance is especially profound, offering both opportunities for rapid growth and exposure to global risks. Understanding and strengthening this interconnected system is key to building a more inclusive and resilient global future. Brother Chongkein?
So this is my assigned topic, economic system. So structures that determine how resources are allocated and goods services are produced. Economic systems are the structures a society used to decide how resources are served, how goods and services are made, and how they are distributed among people. So we have four types of economic system. Number one, traditional. Number two, command. Number three, market. And number four, mix. So we'll discuss traditional. Based on custom, needs, and resources, traditional systems are influenced by belief and tradition. A traditional economy relies on custom and traditions, with people farming or trading for their needs. For example, rural villages in parts of Africa or indigenous communities that hunt, fish, or barter goods. So, number two, command, run by a central authority. This is the characteristic, centralized decision, government controls, and distribution. A command economy is controlled by the government, which decide what to produce and how to distribute goods. Example, North Korea or the former Soviet Union. Number three, the market, controlled by force of demand and supply. Characteristic, decision made by individuals and businesses driven by supply and demand. A market economy is controlled by the force of supply and demand, where individuals and businesses make decisions about what to produce, sell and buy. Price are set by market, not the government. Example, the United States or Singapore. Last one, mix. A combination of command and market system, characteristic combination of market and command economies, government or intervention into certain sectors. A mixed economy combines elements of both market and command system, where businesses and individuals make most decisions, but the government regulates or controls some sectors to protect the public interest. Example is France or Canada. So let's go on. International trade is the exchange of goods and services between communities. It plays a key role in boosting economic growth, expanding access to markets, and promoting healthy competition among businesses worldwide. For example, the trade of electronics from South Korea to the United States, or soil from Middle East, or oil from the Middle East to various countries demonstrate how global trade connect economies and support growth. Comparative advantage is when countries focus on producing goods for which they have a lower opportunity cost, meaning they can produce those goods more efficiently than others. This allows them to trade and benefit from specialization. Example, Brazil has a comparative advantage in producing coffee, while Saudi Arabia has comparative advantage in oil production, I should say. Trade barriers are government impose restrictions such as tariff, taxes on imports, and quotas limits on imports. Designed to protect domestic industries, government may also provide subsidies or financial support to local industries. While trade barriers can safeguard local businesses, they can also lead to trade wars. The downside is that they can limit consumer choice and raise price.
Good day everyone. Next is we are going to report about the domestic economic policies. Domestic economic policies are strategies implemented by a government to regulate the influence its economy. The main goals are to promote economic growth, control inflation, and reduce the unemployment. The fiscal policy involves government spending and taxation. In spending on infrastructure, education, and social services stimulates economic activity. Taxation changes affect consumers' behavior and demands. These actions collectively impact the overall level of economic growth and stability. Monetary policy is managed by the central banks and focuses on controlling the money supply and interest. It includes the open markets, discount rates, and reserve requirements. The interest rates are adjusted to either encourage borrowing and spending by lowering the rates or controlling inflation by raising the rates. Foreign economic policies regulate the nation's economic interactions with other countries. It includes promoting exports, attracting foreign investments, and maintaining economic stability. These policies help countries gain access to the global markets and protect their economic interests. The trade agreements are between countries to reduce barrier to international trade. The two types is bilateral and a multilateral. These agreements simplifies the reduce cost, trade, and create opportunities for business to grow globally. Transnational corporations. They are the large economies that operate in multiple countries beyond their home base. They drive globalization, provide employment, and influence local markets. The characteristic of transnational corporation: global presence operate in various countries, adapting products to local markets, influence significant impact on local economies, employment, and productions. Next is advantage of transnational corporations. Job creation, produce employment opportunities in host countries, technology transfer, introduce new technologies and practices. These challenges raise ethical issues such as poor labor practices or tax avoidance. Contribute to environmental problems including pollution and resource depletion in host countries. That's all in my report. Thank you.
I'm back again to discuss about the international economic institutions. What are their roles in global economy? What do they do? Are they only props, or they play an important role in the global economy? International economic institutions, they are the one who gives law, who gives something what to do in order to have an order on the global trade and management, on the global economy, on the financial support. International economic institutions play an important role in our global economy. And the three institutions that I will discuss are IMF, the World Bank, and the WTO. The first is the International Monetary Fund. IMF is focused on maintaining global monetary cooperation and financial stability. It offers short-term loans to countries facing balance of payments problems, such as currency crisis. The IMF also monitors global economic trends and gives policy advice to help countries maintain sustainable economic practices. And now we go to the World Bank. The World Bank's primary goal is to reduce poverty and support development. They provide long-term financial and technical assistance to developing countries. Projects often focus on infrastructure, education, healthcare, and sustainable development, aiming to improve living standards and economic opportunities. Now we go to the WTO, the World Trade Organization. The WTO governs global trade rules. It ensures that trade flows as smoothly and fairly as possible. The WTO provides a platform for negotiating trade agreements and resolving disputes between member countries, helping to reduce trade barriers and promote open markets. And now, let us move on to the market integration. It happens when countries reduce or eliminate trade barriers and coordinate economic policies to operate more as a unified economic space. Examples are European Union and ASEAN. This integration encourages closer economic ties and smoother movement of goods, services, and capital. How market integration boosts trade? It increases trade. It reduces barriers, leading to higher trade volumes, and one of most obvious benefits of market integration is this. By reducing tariffs and simplifying regulations, countries make it easier for businesses to sell goods and services across borders. It also helps firms grow by expanding their customer base beyond national borders. Another major benefit is greater economic stability. It integrates market often experience more stable growth because they share resources and risks. Countries within a trade bloc, for instance, can support each other during economic downturns. A good example of market integration is European Union. During the COVID-19 pandemic, member countries collaborated on economic recovery packages, showing how integration can bring stability in times of crisis. And the use of common currency, the euro, helps maintain price stability and reduces exchange rate risks. And after those that I've said, what future trends in our global economy? First is digital economy. The growth of e-commerce, fintech, and digital currencies. We have now Bitcoin, we have now different currency, we have the Gcash or any app that produces currency. We are already in our way to the future trend of global economy. And second is sustainability. The increasing focus on green initiatives and sustainable practices. After all the learnings that we have learned, in the future, I hope we are going to discover how to maintain and how to sustain our economic status. In conclusion, global economy is complex and interconnected, requiring cooperation. Understanding this dynamic is crucial for future economic policies and strategies. But we need to strive, as far as I have read this, we need to strive because the common purpose of the global economy is also for the common good. Like a Filipino, we have a tradition, we have a culture that says bayanihan and damayan. May this global economy be on our mind as a seminarian, as a missionary in the future, or any vocations, that in order for us to grow, we should believe in the famous quotation, "No man is an island." We cannot live alone. Even if how big is a country, they still need other country to sustain them. Once again, I am Seminarian Jude and Cabelin from Saverian Missionaries, together with Brix Obina from CMF, the Claretian Missionaries, and Chongkein Beyag from FMI, the Sons of Mary Immaculate. Damo na salamat.